So it's distorted as in you can't hear it very well, or is it fine?
How is this? Can a few people raise their hands and tell me if you can hear me? Go into the questions box and let me know how your sound is.
Perfect, great. Okay.
Good?
Awesome. All right.
Thank Wonderful. You. Thank you.
So I also want to thank the folks who've already registered in front of hearing your information session. That's fine, and we'll be able to approve you later or today and as we go on through the week, but I really do appreciate your enthusiasm. So East Bay Gives is a 24-hour online giving day. It's part of Give Local America, which is hosted by Kimbia, and it's specifically for community foundations across the United States. So community foundations host a giving day. We call ours East Bay Gives, and it's the primary and only intention really is to help nonprofits do fundraising online. So for the East Bay Community Foundation, this is one of our signature events. It is going to go, we have a new CEO as of 1 year ago, and he really believes in East Bay Gives, and so East Bay Gives is going to go on and on for the East Bay Community Foundation. It's really one of the ways that our community foundation is able to put into action our mission. And one of the parts of our mission is to support the growth of nonprofits. And so all of the learning tools you will receive, boot camps you can attend, and including this information session, it's ways to start thinking about your nonprofit and building your fundraising capabilities and building your donor base. All of the tools that we give you are going to help you do that in regards to East Bay Gives and really on an ongoing basis. The East Bay Community Foundation has been doing this. This is our third year. Our first year, we raised, kind of by coincidence, $206,000 for 140 nonprofits. Last year, we actually set goals as opposed to the first year, and we increased our total donations by 225%, raising $649,000 in 24 hours, and we supported 360 nonprofits, which was an increase of 157%. So this year, we're going to raise more than $1 million for at least 500 nonprofits in 24 hours, and all this is going to happen on May 3rd, 2016. You can see in the two infographics, this one right here and the one that you were just looking at, it gives you more information, more details about what we did. So I think one of the main questions folks ask is, why would I do East Bay Gives in addition to my annual fundraising campaign, or in conjunction, or instead of my annual fundraising campaign? So one of the things to think about is that online fundraising, in the past 3 years, donations have increased nationally over 50% in online fundraising. You'll also see more and more online fundraising tools. It could be Kiva, it could be Kickstarter, it could be GoFundMe. So these tools are all coming online, as are giving days like the one in November, which is a national nonprofit giving day that anybody can participate in as long as you're a nonprofit. And what this means is that it's becoming a thing. And the more tools there are, the higher the awareness is. As online donations have increased, the average gift size for an online donation has increased as well, and that's been an increase of 25%. So participating in East Bay Gives provides your organization with an online vehicle for donations and an impactful way to amplify your donor solicitation. As we go on, you'll see that we're going to speak about social media in all its forms, and just how that really exploits communication, meaning that it grows exponentially. So it's a powerful way to build your donor base, and now East Bay Gives in its third year is becoming a recognized name all over the region. I know that for us, last year we ended with 360 nonprofits, and including the day of, we had people calling, and every day after, people calling and emailing us wanting to participate. So we had about 100 folks who didn't get to participate last year, and they're going to get to participate this year, so that's super exciting. If we could go back to the, I guess we can't see it now, but there's, on the previous East Bay Gives website, there was a prize tab. And the prize tab talked about, every year there's a prize pool of funds that's awarded to participating nonprofits throughout the 24 hours. Some prizes are random golden tickets where we just draw a name electronically. There's a tool. We draw a name from all of the participating nonprofits, and they get that random golden ticket. It could be a $1,500 grant. It could be a $500 grant. You really don't have to do anything but make sure that you are having some activity on your fundraising page every single hour. It could be 1 donation. It could be 100 donations. But in order to be in that random prize pool, you just need to have something happen in the hour. And then a lot of the prizes require activity, and I would say it's kind of like game-like activity. So for instance, the most popular one last year, and it'll probably be the most popular one this year, is the board prize. So I believe it was between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. last year. Whichever nonprofit had every single board member make a donation within that hour, the first nonprofit that got all their board in, they won, I think, a $5,000 grant. And so there will be things like the nonprofit that had the most activity, the nonprofit that got the most donations. And most donations will equate to most, people who made a donation, not the largest dollar amount, because we try to make all the prizes fair and equitable. But this year, we're going to have $150,000 in the prize pool. That's a little bit over $6,000 an hour. And there's no limit on how many times you can win. So last year, there's an organization called White Pony Express. They're in Contra Costa, and they won, I believe, 6 prizes out of the 24 hours. And the way that they did it is they organized their staff. They said, okay, here are the prizes we want to go after, and Jerry, you're assigned to this prize, and you need to do whatever it takes to make sure we have the most activity, or we get all our board members in. And so we're going to talk about a little bit about that later on, but it was really quite an amazing thing to see. And then another question that folks ask about are fees. So Kimbia charges 2.99% off the top of all donations. And then PayPal charges 30 cents per credit card transaction, and then 2.22% of the donation. So roughly, right, you're looking at about 5% in fees. East Bay Community Foundation presents this event, and we don't charge anything. We pay for the software, and we raise the money for the prizes. And so the only thing that you have to pay is the 2.99% from Kimbia and the 30 cents per transaction, and another 2.22% for PayPal. Can you repeat the fee and percentage for PayPal? PayPal is 30 cents for every credit card transaction plus 2.22%. And if you use PayPal for anything else, you'll know that that's a discounted rate that our controller negotiated. So that's pretty great too. So I'm going to turn it over to Sarah Merkel now, and she's going to talk about registration. Keep your questions coming, because I know that I've seen a lot of registration matching the names of the folks I see attending today, and that's great. Sherry Carson, I'm glad to hear that there is more prize money, but will it be divided into more prizes or higher prize money? Yeah, we're going to save the questions until the end and then just go through them. That way people can track all the questions and get their answers all at one time instead of maybe missing it in between conversations.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm going to be talking to you guys about registration. Registration opens this Monday, January 4th. I believe we're up to about 50 or so registered nonprofits thus far, so definitely rolling in.
Almost 60.
So there's a couple of things I want to go over first, and then I'll show you the actual registration where you can select the link since all of that's live now. In order to register, you must be a 501c3 or have a fiscal sponsor who is a 501c3. If you have any questions about fiscal sponsorship and what that entails or looks like, we're available as a resource for that. But the main thing to be aware of is that you need to be in touch with your fiscal sponsor to make sure that they understand their role within this process and that the check will be remitted to them and then needs to be redistributed back out to you. You must attend at least one orientation, and you are all on this call, so you have successfully done that. You must have a Facebook page. If you don't have a Facebook page, we can also assist you with setting up something like that. Dawn Robinson, who's also on this webinar, is wonderful at doing all the social media stuff on our end, and she can definitely lend assistance in helping you guys get your social media presence up if you need that. You cannot be an educational or religious institution. You can support an educational institution but cannot be one yourself. If you have any questions about this eligibility requirement, please contact us and we can discuss your specifics with you more in depth and figure out if your organization would be eligible. And finally, you must complete the online registration process, which I'm going to go ahead and pull up the East Bay Gifts homepage here. And as you can see, there's this bright green button right at the front here that says nonprofit registration. And if you go there, you will be taken to a form that you can fill out to submit. We aren't going to go into too much detail about it. The main points I want to make up are for these first couple fields here. The contact name and email that you provide is incredibly important, as that is going to be the person who will be receiving all contact from start to finish about East Bay Gives. So you really want to ensure that the person that you list here is somebody that has the commitment and bandwidth to really be able to field this project for your organization in order to maximize success. This might be any person within your organization. It could be your ED. However, your ED might be way over busy at the time, and you'll need to list somebody who has more capacity to get these emails. There will be weekly emails going out to you, so please ensure that the point of contact you list is somebody who can field all of that. Other than that, we just have your basic information, your EIN, your address, etc. You'll fill out your description, which can be your mission statement. It can also include information about special projects that you may be fundraising for. We found it really impactful for people to put something there that's quantifiable, i.e. $20 feeds 5 dogs for a week, $100 feeds 20 dogs for a week, etc. And having those type of tiered giving listed in your description can really encourage donors to not only give to your organization because they found your mission so compelling, but make those larger gifts in order to help you reach goals. And other than that, we just have all of the rest of your basic information that you fill out here. If you have any questions about any of these fields, you can contact us as you go through the process, but more or less it's pretty straightforward. You can go back and edit your profile through April 13th, I believe, at which point Kimbia does shut down editing of profiles. That's not something on our end, it's something on their end. They have so many profiles that they need to get up and running for the day of giving that they do have that cutoff date of April 13th. But up until then, you can update any of this information. You want to make sure it's really tight and good and compelling and accurate so that it gives you the best chance on May 3rd to be able to really galvanize donations. Registration is currently open. It will be open until March 15th. However, we recommend getting your registration in sooner than later. The sooner that you are registered, the sooner you'll be able to attend boot camps, which will give you more in-depth information about how to get a lot of institutional success out of this event, and also be able to really tighten up that profile page and start publicizing the event through social media and whatever other channels that your organization chooses to promote this event through. And I think that's just about it on the registration part. Dawn, would you like to talk about social media?
Great. Let's bring the Prezi back.
All
And
right.
hi, everybody. And we'll just click through a little bit until we get to where we need to go. Okay, so Jerry talked about this, about East Bay Gives raising almost $650,000 last year for 350 nonprofits. As you've already heard, our goal for this year is 500 nonprofits registered and participating. And I'm going to talk more about what participating really means as we go through. Sarah talked to you about our goals: to raise $1 million, to register 500 nonprofits. We're looking to get over 500 distinct donors or donations, and that means really individual donations. So let's say that you've, if I were to go on East Bay Gives and I had 5 organizations that I was really interested in donating to. Each organization, that would be a distinct donation. I would be one donor, however. So that's how we're breaking that out. We're looking at a prize pool of about $150,000. And yes, Sarah went over the registration requirements and talked a little bit about educational organizations and religious organizations. And Sarah's really the best person to give you further detail on that. There may be some questions we'll get to at the Q&A. Now, East Bay Gives uses social media to share information and drive your Giving Day success. So what does that really mean? The key word is amplification. Social media, as you may have heard just by walking around, is a way that people are really amplifying their message, getting their word out. You see these things, and you look in your Facebook feed or you look in your Twitter feed, and something is going viral, something's, everyone's posting about it, etc. This is what we want for East Bay Gives. And when you see the Giving Tuesdays or other things, the Ice Bucket Challenge, everybody's heard of these things. And that goes back to what Jerry was talking about how online and digital giving is the way of now and the way of the future. So it's a great time for nonprofit organizations to get themselves involved in this and become familiar with how they can maximize their success. Now, the other thing we do with social media, we really want you to have a Facebook page. If you also have a Twitter, that's excellent. If you don't have one, try not to worry. It's not going to be the biggest thing. But we found with our mentor in Sacramento for the big day of giving in Sacramento, Jerry reached out to some folks there to help mentor us in how to really lead this the best way for you. And one of the things that they point out is that the most successful organizations, the organizations that raise the most money, also used Twitter. I just found that out yesterday, so it's a really important thing. It's not mandatory for you to participate in East Bay Gives, but think about whether, if you're new to it, it may not be the best time to open your participation in Twitter. But think about how you can use that tool if it seems right for your organization. What else do we have here? Okay, that stuff you know. Let's go take a look at the East Bay Community Foundation website. We have a page on the East Bay Community Foundation website that we might have to go to the page that we have for East Bay Gives. I want you all to know that all you have to do is go to ebcf.org. And Sarah, if you click on the home button there, so we can go back to the home page. So this is our home page for East Bay Community Foundation. As you can see, right front and center at the very top, East Bay Gives registration is open now. You click on Learn More, and you're going to go to this page that has all this information about East Bay Gives, and I really encourage you to go there and read through it. You're going to see the announcement for East Bay Gives. You can talk about info sessions that are coming up. You see here the boot camp schedule and the links to register once you are registered for East Bay Gives and approved. There's a bunch of other stuff here. Oh, great, we have the maximum number of attendees. Yay! Other ways for you to register, like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. So let's get back to that. First thing you want to do at the end of this webinar is go and like and follow East Bay Community Foundation. Why? Because we're always posting information, tips, images that you can share. You can share our posts. If you don't want to create your own post, you can just share what we posted about East Bay Gives and add a comment of your own about your organization. So we make it really easy for you. One of the other things we're going to be providing in the boot camps is specific, actionable information about how you will use these social media tools. If you are savvy with this already, that is excellent. You'll be able to add more value for your organization. If you're not savvy with it, we are here to help. And Jerry has often said that we are your kind of consultants on East Bay Gives. So you want to use us as your consultant. You want to ask your questions. You want to make sure that you understand each piece of this. But you're not going to succeed if you don't follow the instructions we send out. So one way you can make sure that you get to succeed by following the instructions is following Sarah's advice about making sure that the contact person on your profile, your organization's registration, is the person assigned to receive those emails, respond to those emails, and ask questions on behalf of your organization. As we've said, you want to assign tasks to various individuals. This is about your planning as a nonprofit. We are here to help, and we have a structure already set up that's very robust to help you, but you have to do the investment inside your organization. We often, in the last 2 years, have had organizations come in and say to us, well, you know, 2 days before the event, well, I guess we didn't really activate on this. You don't want to be that guy. You know, you want to be the person who says, okay, maybe I slipped a week or two here or there, but I got back on track, and I've got my board engaged, I've got my staff engaged, I've assigned things to people, and I know who's responsible for calling this donor or this person. You may have some people that are really, really big fans of yours, and you want to let them know that you're doing this. So that's getting leadership buy-in, get your ED and your development staff involved, seek out a donor perhaps that might want to put up a matching grant. And as far as your profiles, and if we could go back to the East Bay Gives website, there's a few profiles up already on the leaderboard, and I just want to give you an example of what that looks like. And we can just pick one. These are public, so I hope if you're on the call you don't feel bad about someone seeing. Here, Berkeley Symphony, perfect. So you see here, Berkeley Symphony's profile is already up. They've got their name, they've got their image, they've got their music director's name there, and then they talk about their mission. And I bet there's an image even further down. There's their, so check this out. Here's something important. You see this contact information? This will be public. You want to use your correct address. And the address that you use, by the way, in your registration is the address that we will mail your check to. So you want to be really sure this is correct. You want to be sure that your phone number is correct. Let's say that I am just Jane Q donor and I'm out there scrolling through profiles and I decide, oh, let me call Berkeley Symphony and ask when the next event is. So your phone number's wrong? Not good. Not good at all. Your website needs to be correct. We need to be able to, people need to be able to click on that and go right to your website. Your main public email address needs to be there. Now, I don't see a Facebook link or anything there.
Neither do I.
So I'm wondering, yeah, let's see. That's, all those things are required to get approved. So we want to make sure. Now, we see here, look at this great image they put up about with just some smiling folks from their organization talking about what they do. And it may be that the profiles are not showing the Facebook stuff until the day of the event, but I'm going to confirm all that a little bit later. Now, in the corner there, that gray box where you see social media, that's going to be showing the East Bay Community Foundation feed of all the social media. So this is what I want you to remember. Whether you're on our Facebook page or on East Bay Gives, you can see content that we've posted and grab and share for yourself on Facebook and Twitter. Let's see now, profiles. Yes, we're talking about reviewing. And maybe not just you. Every time I put anything out for you guys, I send it to Sarah and I send it to Jerry. Why? Because, hey, my eyes aren't always perfect. I don't see every mistake. You want several people in your organization to review your profile, ask questions about, well, do we want to say that? Is that the right address? Let's say that American Bone Health is not known to its donors as American Bone Health. Maybe they're known to their donors as ABH. Well, you might want to make sure that ABH is somewhere on there so your donors recognize that they're in the right place. So you see what I'm saying? There's a little bit of legwork for you to do to figure out, is your profile looking the best that it can possibly be? Every week you want to ask yourself, did I hear something from East Bay Community Foundation about East Bay Gives this week? If I didn't hear anything, why not? Because every week from now on, we're going to be communicating with you guys about what needs to be done, getting information to you. You're going to be talking to your staff, figuring out how to package your donation levels. You're going to decide on what the correct address and email stuff on record will be. You don't want those simple things to trip you up when it's time for you to get your donation check. And speaking of donations, you will receive a donation report. You get a link so that you can see all of your donations, all the people who donated to you, and what time those donations came in, unless they've specifically requested to be anonymous, in which case you will not have access to their information. But that will be available to you from maybe a couple of weeks before the event. So you'll have that link, and all day you'll be able to keep checking your your progress. Of course, you'll be able to check it on the big screen on the home page. And if we click over to the home page there, Sarah, you'll see that it's got the countdown strip. Last year it was a bigger box, but you see that blue strip right there in the middle. During the event, you're going to see how much money we are raising moment by moment. So what we heard from participants last year was, even if they didn't have as many donations as they hoped, they had a lot of fun watching the ticker going up and seeing how close we were getting to our goal. So everyone became involved and engaged in seeing to it that as an East Bay region that we achieved what we wanted to achieve, and that was a lot of fun. Finally, I am going to talk a little bit about the boot camps. On the East Bay Community Foundation website, ebcf.org, you can see that box that was there. Let me see if we can, yeah, there we are, just a little higher. There is a box with a blue date, time, and those are all boot camp. Those are all boot camp topics that we have, and you can register once you are approved. Once you've been registered and approved for East Bay Gives, you may register for a boot camp, and then you can attend, and you'll get that kind of specific information. We're really going to talk to you in the boot camp board engagement. We're going to talk to you about donor engagement. We're going to talk to you about social media. You can see the board and donor engagement is one type of boot camp. The other one is a social media boot camp, and you'll have a couple different opportunities to participate in that if one of the dates doesn't work for you. All boot camps will be held here at the East Bay Community Foundation in our downtown Oakland offices, and at that time we'll begin to talk about an 8-week work plan that we will have available for you to decide how much of each of those things you can feasibly do for yourself. But it gives you a great framework to think about the 8 weeks leading up to May 3rd. I think that's all I have. How are we doing on time?
We have a half hour.
Oh, great. We're doing great on time. So we have a long time to answer lots of questions, and we're going to read those out loud and just go through them and make sure that that everyone can hear and that they are answered. All right.
Are those fees written down on a slide?
The fees aren't written down on a slide, but you can write them down right now. The Kimbia fee is 2.99% of all of your donations, and PayPal is 30 cents per transaction for a credit card transaction, and then 2.22% of the donation. So what happens is all of the funds come into the East Bay Community Foundation. We subtract the fees and then send you a grant check for the total amount of donations. If you win prizes, or when you win prizes, the prizes don't have anything subtracted from them. You get the total amount. The prize money, will it be divided into more prizes or higher prize money in the same amount of prizes per hour? Since you're expecting more nonprofits, will there be more prizes? So again, last year we had $100,000. This year we're having $150,000. We do have the same amount of hours, and we strive to award prizes so that they have significant impact, meaning they're a significant amount of money, and so that there are a lot of prizes that everybody can go for. We don't know at this point in time. We haven't decided what the prizes are going to look like, so we don't know if they're there will definitely be more because there's more money, but we don't know what the structure of the whole prize pool is going to be. We're just getting people registered right now.
When you get questions, the question is, have you learned from participating organizations how many hours it takes to participate optimally? Great question.
It is a great question. And no, we haven't. But so again, Don mentioned that, of course, you're going to have to put in some time because you're going to have to, even if you're sharing social media, someone's going to have to click and go in and share. We're going to share with you at the boot camp donor and board engagement. That's going to take some effort. And then, you know, there's always a relationship between effort and reward, and we've seen that. But we've also seen, in our first year, we saw a two-person organization earn $40,000, and part of the reason why they did that was because they got a match. But they did the work to go out and get the match, then they did the work to go out and get the donations. I think what we can't impress upon you enough is that we're handing you a treasure bag that all you have to do is pull the things out and do them. It's like your workout. You know, it's like you're getting a free gym membership. We're giving you the weights and the treadmills, but you're going to have to go in and lift the weights and run on the treadmill in order to reach your goal.
And Jonathan, truthfully, as you know, I'm sure, and everyone on the call knows, each organization is different in terms of its resources. One organization could maybe get a lot done with one phone call and not have to work very hard at all. They might have a donor who's just ready to underwrite a match, and then they can just sit back and wait. Other organizations may have to work a little bit harder. But I think the key to success that I've seen is really understanding what your organization can do, and then harnessing what you know you do well and make it work for you.
Can we get help with our existing LITA of ContraCosta.org Facebook page? Of course you can.
Sure.
So again, you have access to us. We try to adhere to the sundown rule, meaning we get back to folks on the same day, unless like a call comes in around 3:30 or so, and then we might not. But so if you say, can you help us with our Facebook page, we'll probably arrange a time when we can do that for you, but it's definitely exactly the type of help we want to provide you.
Do fiscal sponsored organizations qualify for the program? Yes, they do, as long as your fiscal sponsor is a 501c3, and you just need to make sure that they understand their role in East Bay Gives, which is primarily providing you with an EIN and understanding that the check will be remitted to them and they will need to redistribute to your organization or project.
And then Autumn, same question about time commitment. I don't really know how to answer that question. And Yacinda, my colleagues at other nonprofits missed the registration. We're actually recording this right now. So we're going to put it up on our toolkit page, and so people will be able to listen to it from there going forward. And we do have a live in-person webinar in Lafayette. I will say that the Lafayette Library and Learning Center, those are the folks that are hosting us in Contra Costa County, that's accessible by BART. So all you need to do is jump on BART, jump off, and walk down the street. So there's no reason that folks can't come to there, and that's why we chose the location.
I want to just add that when we post the recording on our website and on the East Bay Gives Toolkits tab, and it's really important, it's really obvious to us when we get the phone calls about questions who has participated in an info session and who has not. So if you tell yourself you just don't have time to do that, you really will benefit from just listening to it in the background and getting a sense of answering your questions. But it's worth your time. We're not going to police you over it, but we will make it available for anyone, and I just highly encourage you to make use of all of those toolkits that you will find on the toolkits page.
Courtney, thanks for the offer, but we're all set with Kimbia and PayPal. Betty, the boot camps are going to be here in Oakland at the East Bay Community Foundation, and we are located right on top of the 12th Street City Center BART station. And we have a large, beautiful conference center, so it's very easy to get here. As time goes on, if we realize there is a need for us to take a boot camp out on the road, we'll do that. But right now we have 4 rotating boot camps scheduled for here at our conference center. It actually works out well. Sometimes people want to bring their laptops or iPads in order, or they can use some of our laptops in order to work on their page or registration, and we have time to do that during the boot camp.
We have several questions here about editing throughout the campaign. You are able to edit your profile from when it is approved through April 13th, and after that can be a lockdown all the profiles, and there's nothing to be done at that point about things. So you want to make sure that by or before April 13th that you're all set, but up until that point you can make edits.
And I'm going to need to confirm this, but I believe that when you register, you get an email, a confirmation email, and that there is a link that tells you, that sends you to your profile. So that's another reason why you want to really be clear about whose contact email you're putting in that profile, because every communication from the Kimbia platform goes to that contact email. So when I've already gotten a couple of calls this week saying, I didn't get my, I don't know how to go in and edit my profile, it makes me suspicious that somehow the email that was put in there is already redirected to someplace that someone can't get to it. So just make sure that you read those emails carefully and look for the link that tells you how to go to edit your profile. It's very straightforward.
Or our organization uses a DBA name as our brand. The EIN is under a parent organization. Can we keep our name searchable and on the listings? The parent organization name is relatively unknown to our supporters. Yes, there is a field for your DBA, and you can go ahead and enter what you're known as there, and you can also add a clarifying thing, as Dawn mentioned previously, in your mission in case you need any further clarification. We talked about boot camp.
And Derek, we're not going to do boot camps online because it's really important for the interaction on the boot camps, and actually we'll probably be switching screens, and we may be even live helping people with their questions. And so, and if we do breakout sessions during the boot camp, you have to be here. So we prefer to do that in person rather than online.
The event on January 8th is an info session that's taking place in person in Lafayette. There's information about that on the website. And then boot camps will be starting January 15th. There are 2 on each topic, and each one on the same topic will be the same. So both social media ones will be covering the same information. Both donor and board ones will be covering the same information. We recommend you sign up for one in each category, full breadth of knowledge that we're offering to share.
Well, and just to be clear, it's true, we did originally say that there would be a boot camp this Friday, the 8th, and because of the beginning of registration and various other constraints about trying to get the right amount of information to you, we made the choice to do an in-person event on the 8th and start the boot camps on the 15th. So I just want to, I've had a couple calls about that, and I want to make sure that folks understand that you're not crazy, you did see that, but now it's changed.
I understand orientation is a necessary step. Is this the same as the webinar informational session? Yes, you have completed that step, Janice. You are all set on that qualification.
Matching funds. This is an important question. So there's a distinct difference between a prize pool and matching funds. So the prize pool is money that the East Bay Community Foundation is fundraising, and we're just going to give it away as discussed through random drawings and little contests during the day. Matching funds are when an organization goes out and you might have a donor who gives you a big gift every year, and you would say to them, hey donor, I'm going to be, or we are going to be participating in East Bay Gives 2016 on May 3rd. And we are wondering if for this year's donation, you would match our fundraising efforts. So the donor might say, I would love to, and I will match you up to $25,000. then it becomes the organization's responsibility. You can publish your match on your registration page. You'll be able to see that. And it'll become your responsibility to go out and raise $25,000 so you get your match for a total of $50,000. What we have seen done is on the mission page, you do put some information on your mission or on your organization, but you really pump up maybe on your registration page as well as, and most importantly, on Facebook and Twitter, we have a $25,000 match. You know, be prepared to help us reach it. And then during the day of, you're constantly saying, like, we only have $5,000 left to go. We've reached our match. We've got, you know, $10,000 in the kitty and we need $15,000 more. And so it becomes a really effective tool for you. And Dawn probably explained it, but then on the day of, when people are going through and they're like, oh, look, nonprofit XYZ, they're $1,250 away from their match. You know what? I think we're just going to top them off and give them that, and then they'll achieve their match. So that's what matching funds are, and if that wasn't clear, just let us know.
Jerry, I have a question about that. I think we had a question last year about whether prize money counts towards someone's match. How does that work?
So,
would they be able to say, for example, oh, we won this prize an hour ago, so that puts us over our match? Just how does that work?
Well, money goes into the amount earned, so I think it would be reflected.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have several questions here about donor data. One of them was, do you have data on the percentage of new donors versus existing donors to nonprofits who participated last year? I don't think we have that exact information. However, we can say definitively, not only from our experiences, but from donors we spoke to on the day of and organizations we spoke to, that you definitely do accrue new donors, and that is part of the benefit of doing East Bay Gives. Once you're registered, I believe you get the link to your donor information spreadsheet.
That doesn't happen. Kimbia releases that 2 weeks before the event, so you won't have that right along because there's nothing to populate it with. But we give you access to it so that you can continue to follow along on the day of. You don't have to wait until after the event to see that.
I think one of the things that Dawn mentioned hits that topic spot on, and that's the amplification of social media. So once you're approved and registered and you go in and like all of the other organizations that are registered as well, so anytime a donor of the East Bay Community Foundation who follows us on Facebook is looking at our Facebook page, anything that any nonprofit posts is going to pop up, or share is going to pop up. And so all of these donors are going to begin to see all of the organizations that are participating, and that is like prime #1 example of the amplification of social media and why it's so very important that you take advantage of that. And Twitter, you know, you can see anybody's Twitter feed. You don't even have to have someone like you. You can go in and search on somebody's Twitter feed and follow it. And so when you think about trying to increase your exposure to new people, that's part of the work of this Giving Day, is to overexpose you.
Well, and the other thing is that during the board and donor engagement boot camps, you're going to learn some real specific tactics for getting your board to help you and your donors to help amplify in your community, so that folks who may not have known about you in your region will start to know about you and know that you're involved in East Bay Gives, and be prepared to support you on May 3rd.
Which is a great segue into Julie's question. Would you consider a prize for all organizations with 100% board participation? I believe we will do what we did last year, which is the first organization to get all of their board members to give. This is something we'll also talk about more, as Dawn just mentioned, in the boot camps, about how getting your board galvanized through prizes like that can really aid your success in that day.
So, Julie, the problem with splitting the prize, because there was a prize, I don't remember which one it was, but there was a prize that we had to split last year, and it ended up being like, oh, everybody gets $25. And so our intention with raising the money for the prizes and having a prize pool is that it can add some significance to your annual budget. And so we don't really want to dilute them by awarding, 10 people the board participation prize. But I'll tell you, we have thought that maybe we need to have more than one board participation prize. Maybe we need to have an AM and a PM so that people can choose which one they want to go after.
Derek asked, is there a minimum donation amount as was set last year? Yes, it's the same, which is $20. So that is the minimum donation amount. Kathy asked, is the registration form asking if our organization matches funds made by donors? No, they're asking if you have procured a match from a donor, and you can update that. So if you don't have one now, but a month from now somebody says, yes, we'll give you a match, you can go ahead and update that when that comes in.
More than one person attend a boot camp? Two?
Yeah, I think we'll hold it at 2 people from an organization, or perhaps you want to send people to different boot camps. We have a space limitation of about 85 people or something like that.
We have a question. So one organization will get that $150,000, or will it be split? It will be split. There will be 2 prizes per hour for the full 24 hours. You have 48 opportunities to win a prize. Each one is its own discrete either contest or randomized golden ticket. So hypothetically, I guess one organization could get the whole 150, but I don't think that would ever happen.
That wouldn't happen. And I want to be I want to be really clear for everyone. We have not set a prize structure yet, and it's a little premature to talk about this in this kind of detail because so to just be really super clear, it's not $150,000 up for grabs as a prize. So I hope that everyone understands that. And as Sarah and Jerry have pointed out, there are we have hourly prizes, we have 24 hours, and we have 2, sometimes more than 2 prizes per hour that will be various amounts throughout the day for different levels of participation. We have not set that structure yet, and I'm hesitant to get on this recording and have everyone saying, well, I heard it on the recording that you were going to do thus and so, because that has not been determined yet. But the prize structure, if you participated last year, you know what it was like. You have an idea. We will be publishing the list of prizes and the hours that they correlate to and the ways that you can qualify for them as soon as we have all of that information nailed down. I'm going to guess that it's going to be at least a month ahead of the event. So sometime in late March, early April, you'll be able to see the prize list.
What if I'm not physically able to attend the boot camps? Can you share your visuals for those who can't attend? I believe we will be posting, I'll just show you guys actually very quickly while we're on here. On the East Bay Gives homepage, there's this tab called Toolkit. And if you go there right now, there's nothing posted, but soon I believe this webinar recording will be there along with other valuable information, including some of the data and visuals that we will be sharing in the boot camp.
We're going to post some logos, like the East Bay Gives logo you see here on the East Bay Gives website, so that you can use it for your own use. We're going to post a one-pager that we're putting together with fact sheet. We'll be posting the pre-registration handbook, the webinar recording, and any other materials that we come up with throughout the boot camp period that will be helpful to you to use. So that's a great question. We definitely are working with Kimbia to make sure that this event is as accessible to everyone as it can be, and we worked with a couple of different organizations that had different visual and hearing accessibility concerns last year, and we were very successful in working with them.
What role will EBCS play in terms of promotion? Will any particular organizations be featured, or will be general promotion leading people to what I imagine will be a landing page featuring all of the organizations?
Well, there's the leaderboard right there, and you can get a look at it right now from your computer. You can go to eastbaygives.org and you can look at the leaderboard. There's the list of all the organizations as they're becoming registered, and hopefully, at the end of at the end of the registration period, we will have 500 or more in that list. Right now, we just have the ones that are registered and approved.
So I think in addition to what Dawn just said, East Bay Community Foundation, or the East Bay Gives team, last year we did huge BART billboards. We paid for those, but that's all East Bay Gives branded collateral. But I do know as we come closer and closer to the event that the social media posts call out specific organizations to draw your attention. We'll use your hashtag, we'll use your Facebook page, and we do that randomly, but we do promote different, or try to promote all of the organizations in a very specific way throughout the timeline.
When will organizations find out what the prize pool categories are? I believe we just addressed that one. Are you aware of any organizations that have had a volunteer manage this project with supportive staff? Last year, actually, our top earner, White Pony Express, is an all-volunteer organization. So we have talked to many organizations about the vital role that volunteers have played in being able to make this event a success for their organization. So yes, volunteers are definitely a huge part of the success that your organization might be able to achieve.
Kevin, your question in regards to our organization is interested in making t-shirts for the event. What are the guidelines for using the foundation's logo? We have very specific guidelines for using the foundation's logo, and we're going to post those on the toolkit page as well.
Well, and I think that there will be a differentiation between the East Bay Community Foundation's logo, which we have very specific guidelines about using, and the East Bay Gives logo, which we will develop a policy about.
Yeah.
If you're working for 2 nonprofits, do I have to do the webinars and boot camps twice? I actually spoke to somebody at the in-person about this who actually is the point person, I think, for 3 different organizations that are participating. She's a very active and prolific volunteer, in fact. You do not. You just need to make sure that each of those individual organizations with their individual information and EINs is registered. If you're the point of contact for both of those, that is absolutely fine. You only need to do all of this stuff once. Just ensure that we know that that is what's happening and that you are there on behalf of both organizations so that we can give credit to both organizations. Is the toolkit only available to registrants? It'll be up on eastbaygives.org, so it'll be publicly available. However, it would really only be useful for people participating in the event. Can other of my board members get to the tool tab to hear the recording? Yes, that will be posted publicly, so anybody who has access to the internet can get on to eastbaygives.org, go to the toolkits page, and view that.
Does your organization contact our donors at any other time during the year? To date, we have not, but we do reserve the right to. But we haven't in the previous couple of years.
Is there a way to add our Instagram social media?
I think that, Sherry, on the registration page, we did not include Instagram, but I see no reason not to put it in your. You get 1,000 keystrokes for your description, so if you want to put an Instagram link or a way for people to access your Instagram there, I think that's a great idea.
How long does it take to get approved?
So we've made a commitment that you'll get approved within 1 work week, but I would say to date we are approving same day.
Can we add any video?
You can add video, however, because as Jerry pointed out, with the cutoff time for Kimbia to prepare all the profiles that they have to prepare nationally, you can have video all through the pre-event period, but the day of, they will not guarantee that they can host all those videos for every organization. So my recommendation to you is, if you want to put a video up there, great, but my preferred idea and what I recommend to organizations is to put a link to your homepage in your description so that people can go to see your video, and encourage them to do that. That way they can go and visit that, they get a chance to poke around in your website, and that's good for you.
Do we have to go to both engagement and social media boot camps? No, in fact, boot camps are not requirements. Those are just tools that we're making available to you that we highly recommend you take advantage of. However, they are not mandatory. I believe we addressed that. If we are awarded a matching grant from EBCS, i.e. the East Bay Fund for Artists this year, can the donations we received from EBG 2016 apply to that goal needed to receive the match?
Yes, people have done that in the past.
Is it possible to put together some best practices perhaps from past award winners?
So here's what I want to tell you about that. So Big Day of Giving, which is a combination of the Sacramento Community Foundation, Placer Community Foundation, and Folsom Community Foundation, they raised $5 million in 24 hours last year, and we knew that, so I picked up the phone and called them and asked them if they would mentor us. So this is not a competition, it's an opportunity for you to do the best fundraising you can. So I would personally call White Pony Express and ask them, like, how did you do that? Examples of other folks' successes sprinkled throughout everything that we say and talk about and show online. But, you know, choose a mentor for yourself.
As Jerry said, Sacramento Big Day of Giving, anyone has access to that webpage. You can go there, you can Google it, you can look at their toolkits, you can look at all their stuff, and if some ideas spring to mind, obviously they were very successful. It's something that you can use. I'm concerned that we're getting short on time. I want to get through the rest of these questions and respect everyone's time.
Does Kimbia work well for donations made on mobile devices? Yes, you can use the Kimbia platform on a mobile device. There's not a specific app, but it does work. So we can begin to set strategies and align capacities. Can you describe the types of prizes that might be in play? We will be releasing that. Yeah. Does Kimbia use and capture donor information, and do they have permission to contact them following East Bay Give?
Kimbia, everything flows through their web portal, so they would have access to seeing it, as does PayPal, but I've never heard of Kimbia or PayPal using information. I don't know. At that granular level, I'm not sure what they would do with it.
Will you remind us how donors who prefer to donate by check can participate in East Bay Give? We're really running short on time, but just very quickly, if you do have people who prefer to give via check, we can facilitate that, and you can contact us about the best way to utilize the strategy for your donors in order to make them feel comfortable in giving in that way.
Oh, and Julie, the hashtag is #EastBayGives, all one word.
Our organization doesn't have many of the people involved with us on Facebook or other social media, and they are just changing that. Is there any way we can make this campaign work? Definitely. We will provide some also templates for letters that you can send out to people, and can work on facilitating a written ask for those folks who maybe aren't keyed into social media in that way.
And also, it's an opportunity for you to gain donors who do use social media and computers.
And I want to make sure that we close on time, but if your question hasn't been addressed, can we just scroll down on our homepage here behind this, Sarah, on the homepage of East Bay Gives, we've got contact information. Just email us your question if you feel it hasn't been addressed properly, and we'll really spend some time getting back to you.
And Allie, I've got, as long as everything is accurate and complete on your registration, I can approve you now.
Thank you so much, everyone, for all of your really engaged questions. It's been great to hear from all of you. I'm so glad you're all so excited. We're excited. It's going to be fun.
Use us as a free consultant. I'm here for you.
Thank you guys for joining us. We hope you have a great day.